We're back here, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. Back on December 6th, we all heard the news that broke here at Temple University. 7 teams cut, 9 full-time head coaches affected, and 150 student athletes. The 7 teams that were cut from Temple University were men's outdoor track and field, indoor track and field, baseball, softball, crew, rowing, and gymnastics. So let's go out to Temple University right now and welcome in the manager of Temple Baseball, and that's Ryan Wheeler. Ryan, welcome to the program. It's Zach Gelb. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and I actually saw some news that your team unanimously decided to actually play out this season, and that's a rigorous decision to make, especially when you have some young guys that maybe would like to look to transfer to continue playing baseball. The older guys, I can understand it, but that definitely speaks wonders about the leadership and dedication of your players.
Well, it does. I mean, I'm very proud of the kids. This is obviously a very emotional time for them. The opportunities that they thought they had in front of them, now been taken away, and it was something that wasn't even on their minds. But we had to come together and try to make some decisions on our immediate future as well as our long-term future. And I was very proud of the resolve that they showed, and wanting to stay together and try to play the season.
Let me take you back to, because for the people that aren't familiar with the situation, on December 6th, they cut the 7 teams, but the night before, they sent out an email saying that you had a meeting, and then Kevin Clark individually told the coaches that were affected about the news that was going to be delivered at the pavilion. Take me back, what was going through your mind from when you got the email from the university and when Kevin Clark told you the news?
Well, I got the email, and there was an immediate buzz amongst the coaches at Temple. Really, nobody knew what it was about, what these meetings were about, and so there was a lot of speculation going on. But I was continuing with business and trying to take care of Temple baseball, and I didn't really think too much about it. And the next morning, as I was around the office complex, there was a lot more speculation as to what this might be about. And, the words came out that this could be about cutting sports. And, in my mind, I just didn't think that baseball would be one of them. I really didn't. But as the time drew closer and I just started to put the pieces together, I kind of sensed that this was not going to be a good meeting. And, I obviously got the news then around 1 o'clock around 1 o'clock. And, was shocked, devastated. There's just so many emotions running through my mind at that time. But the most important was, I just immediately thought of the players and just thought about how they're going to react and what was going to happen next. And so it's just kind of been a whirlwind from there.
They said that they took them about 7 months to make this decision, and the Board of Trustees unanimously approved this decision. So you're telling me you never saw any of this coming?
No, and in fact, I've been telling people that, I was thinking just the opposite way. Since Kevin Clark had arrived, there were so many positive things happening at Temple, and, just moving in a different direction than where we were before. And, we were out there as coaches, we're out there on the front line sort of promoting the university and what opportunities we have there for kids. And so I just thought the opposite. I was telling people that this is a great time to be at Temple, and the future looks bright, and it's very exciting, and, jump on board. And then all of a sudden this news came and just shocked me.
The manager of Temple Baseball, Ryan Wheeler, joins us on the hotline, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. And Ryan, let's look at it from the university standpoint. The NCAA, it is a business, and Temple's trying to be successful in athletics. And hey, in this day and age of NCAA athletics, it's tough to keep 24 teams and keep them fair and giving them the same facilities. So the main thing that they said at the press conference on December 6th was a big reason this move was made to be compliant with Title IX. So with all that being said, can you at least understand why this move was made, even though you aren't happy with it?
Sure. As a head coach, as a person in a position of leadership, you're always forced to make decisions, and trying to see both sides of how decisions are made is, I think, very important, and something that I've been able to do. So I understand it. You're right. I don't agree with it, but I understand what the bottom line is, and it doesn't make the pill any easier to swallow. But at the end of the day, it's about money, and it's about big time college athletics, and I understand where the decision came from.
It's never an easy decision to cut sports teams, and I would be annoyed if I was the manager of Temple baseball to see how much dedication and time you've put into this, trying to make this university successful. How do you think the university has handled the situation, though?
Well, that's a tricky question there. I mean, I think you can always continue to point fingers at how they're going about handling things. Um, you know, I've decided in all of this to take the high road, and I'm not going to criticize the university. Um, the decision was made. My focus right now is turning on trying to help our players, help them get through this difficult time, help them, continue to try to find homes for next year so that they continue to have opportunities. And, I'm going to continue to try to explore ways to see if we can save the program. And I don't know if that can be done, but I'd rather put my energies and time into those things rather than criticizing the university for the way they're handling things.
I understand that. Ryan Wheeler joins us, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. Zach Gelb here with you. So, from my standpoint, covering NCAA, whenever you deal with coaches, they're always concerned about their players, and I'm sure that was your first concern when you heard the news. So, what did you tell your players after the news was given out?
I had about a half an hour to digest the information myself, and it was just coming in waves. But the first thing I said to them was, guys, when you become a head coach, they don't give you a manual on how to handle this situation. I said a lot of other things, that come up when you're learning the ropes and going through coaching. Other programs have been through, and you see a lot. But I said this is one that's very uniquely different. So I said, right now we're very, very emotional. We're angry. We're shocked. I said we need to just take some time to digest this, and we're not going to make decisions on anything right now. We're going to get through the weekend, and I said, we're going to regroup on Monday, and we're going to talk about this. And I told them that if they needed anything, if they needed to speak to me directly over the weekend, I was available anytime. And I said this. Well, they'll be okay. I tried to reassure them that things will be okay, that this might be the darkest hour in their life at this particular time, but things happen for a reason, and at the end of the day, we're all going to be okay. We just need to stick together.
When these kids were in high school, you're trying to recruit them and sell them on the university. And I know the pitch is always about education, the facilities at Temple, and then what you could do for them as baseball players to try to get them to the next levels. And not only do you develop a good relationship with those players, but you develop a great relationship with those parents, because ultimately a lot of them are the ones that decide where their child will be going to play at a university. So what have you told the parents throughout this process? Because I'm sure a lot of them aren't happy, and they would definitely call the coach first because you're so close to them and made all these promises to them when their child committed to go to the university.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that, and that's been one of the hardest parts is that I've tried to convey to the parents and to the families that we've recruited and asked to come here is that I had no idea this was coming. I had no idea, and I apologized because I said if I would have known a lot of this information, I wouldn't have asked them to get on board and join us. So many wonderful people out there, so many great families that have been very, very understanding. And as I've told all of them, I said, my mission and goal now is to make sure that your son continues to have another opportunity to get an education and to play college baseball. And I will try to help each and every one of them, find a new place so that they can have that opportunity.
Did it all surprise you when you guys decided to want to play out the season? Because for the older guys like a David Hall on the team, I could understand it because after this year he has no more eligibility left. But for the younger guys, you would like to see some continuity. But that says a lot about your program that they decided, and the job that you're doing at the university, that they decided to stay on board for this year.
Well, and that's why I was proud of them. And I told them that this was their decision. I said, I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to, stick with them. And I said, no matter what they decided, I was going to support their decision. And I tried to lay out to them the pros and the cons of staying and for leaving. And I said, ultimately, you guys decide. And I didn't do a show of hands. I had them do sort of a secret ballot vote so that they wouldn't feel peer pressure. And I told them that if any of them wanted to leave, that I respected their decision and I would help them. And when we got the votes back and we started counting them, and we just saw unanimously that it was all yeses. It kind of got me choked up a little bit because this is going to be unlike any season that they've ever experienced in their lives, and it's going to be tough, but it could be very special, and we're going to share this bond for the rest of our lives, and the fact that they want to do it together is pretty special.
On December 6, 7 teams were cut, 9 full-time head coaches, 150 student athletes. The 7 teams were men's outdoor and indoor track and field, baseball, softball, crew, rowing, gymnastics, and we're talking to Ryan Wheeler, the manager of Temple Baseball. And Ryan, when they had the meeting with the student athletes, we saw some of the videos that the Temple News has released, and it was very emotional. You saw people sobbing, as I could understand, because their team was cut, and athletes put so much time and preparation into this. But it was a concise message, but it was one that was delivered. What did Kevin Clark say to the players?
He essentially read the same script to them that he told all the coaches individually in his office, and that was, that this is something that was very difficult for them, but it was a decision that had to be made for Temple Athletics to move forward. That we carry 24 sports, and throughout the remainder of the conference, there was only one other program, University of Connecticut, that had 24 sports. So in order for the athletic department to be competitive and to fund the sports at the level they needed to be, we had to trim some of the existing sports. And I don't think things really hit home to me until I was in that moment there, and I could see athletes crying. I could hear just them talking to each other in disbelief as to what the news was that they were getting. That's when I think it really became reality for me. In that half an hour between when I found out and when he delivered the message to the athletes, I thought this was a dream. I thought this can't be happening, but that's when it hit home when I saw the athletes.
And a big thing that they told us was to be compliant with Title IX. So how were the conditions at Temple Baseball over the last few years that you've been on the job, and do you think it was convenient to play baseball at Temple University?
I absolutely do. I absolutely think it was convenient. And, I grew up in the area. I've been away playing and coaching myself for over 20 years, so this was a chance for me to come back home. But I knew what I was getting myself into. And, maybe there were not some things that were ideal at Temple, but we made them work. And, part of my job when I took over was to find solutions to some of the problems that maybe existed. And I felt like we were doing a good job. And at the same time, we were providing, players with an opportunity to play Division I baseball as well as get a great education. And I just thought things were moving forward, extremely well. And, I'm disappointed because I spent a lot of time and a lot of hours, dedicating myself to Temple and to the baseball program and to my players. And, now it's all taken away just like it has been for the athletes.
And the 9 full-time head coaches, that number is misleading a bit to me because you also have a lot of assistants on your staff, first base coaches, third base coaches, bench coaches. So what's been your communication with those coaches that aren't the head man like yourself?
Well, it's tough. I mean, right now my assistants are, they're a little bit scared for their future. Once again, they're just like the families that we recruit to come here and play. Both of my assistants. I told them that this was an opportunity to take a program that has got a very proud tradition and to revitalize it. And they were fully invested. I cannot thank my assistants enough for the job they've done over the years and for the job they're doing right now in helping us to handle this situation. And, aside from helping my players, I need to help those two guys, land on their feet. My top assistant is going to be expanding his family this spring, and he's got a lot on his mind. And so I really feel for them because, jobs are not as they're not as plentiful as maybe some opportunities for the players to go and find another school.
Ryan Wheeler joins us. A few more questions with the manager of Temple
Sure.
baseball. And Ryan, let's get to you trying to save the team. Do you think it's possible, and how are you trying to go about that?
Well, I don't know if it's possible or not. I think the message from the university is that this was the final decision. The board of trustees has voted on it. But being a person of character that I am, I just can't walk away from the situation and let it die. I feel like I owe it to too many people, my players, my staff, the alumni, people in the baseball community, and even college baseball fans alone, to fight this and to try and save it. Right now there's a lot of public outcry and I think we're just, I'm going to have to let that sort of take on a world of its own and see where it goes. And I think our best shot is to maybe have the board of trustees revisit things and take a look at this to see if this was ultimately the best decision for Temple athletics and the student athletes that have been cut.
Let me just say this to you before we let you run. And my one of my roommates freshman year, he's on the track team, and his team was cut. And I understand the move, but I do feel for you guys because, especially for the coaches, although you definitely feel for the players because you have a family and you're trying to financially support them. And I do feel very bad for you because after this year, you're not going to be the manager of Temple baseball unless if someone changes this decision. So after this year, what's the next step for you? Do you want to continue to manage?
Absolutely. I have worked my entire life, or spent my entire life, dedicated to the sport of baseball. And, I just was telling somebody the other day that, you hope your career lasts for a long time. And as you get older, there's times where you think about it, ending. And I can tell you that this was not the way. This was one of the ways that I thought my baseball career would end. But I'm gonna continue to try to put feelers out there and see what potential opportunities are out there for me. But I don't feel like my time in baseball is over yet from the coaching standpoint. I would love to be back on the field. Would love to take the reins of another program and see if we can continue to do good things there.
In 10 years, how do you want people to remember Temple baseball if you aren't able to save it?
Well, I would hope that people would remember that this is a program that was built on tradition, had a lot of successful players come through the program, and but it was a family. At the end of the day, this was a family, and that's an environment that I tried to create here when I arrived. And I think our decision to stick together and play the season, is going to show people that we are a family. And just like in any other family, you go through good times and you go through bad times, but at the end of the day, you stick together. And I want people to know that my kids were tough. They fought through this adversity, and at the end of the day, the decision didn't work out in our way, but we did everything we possibly could to end on a positive note and end on a high note. And this was a family. This was a family that was broken apart.
Coach, we appreciate a few minutes today. I know it's not easy to talk about this, and I wish we were talking on better circumstances, but we appreciate a few minutes, and thanks so much.
Well, thank you for having me.